Speak with you today, Len. Looking forward today to hearing your views on what it means and how do you get the best supply chain training. And my first question is, what do you consider to be the best type of supply chain training?
There's a lot of different disciplines that go into building a competency for somebody involved in the supply chain, whether they're on the supplier quality side or in the logistics side. There are a lot of different specialties within the supply chain area. Our organization kind of focuses on the manufacturing process, and we provide instruction to sourcing personnel as well as supplier quality engineers on manufacturing process and principles. So we're really focused on the beginning of the supply chain, not so much on the logistics and transportation and distribution, which there are other organizations that provide training and expertise in those areas.
And can you talk about what do you teach in your training?
Sure. We provide both online training and on-site instructor-led training. And for online training, we have various modules on things like manufacturing management, intro to managerial accounting, basics of manufacturing costs. So there's a lot of theory that we're teaching as far as what constitutes best practices in manufacturing and costing. We spend probably a lot more time in teaching supply chain pros what's going on the shop floor. So they get a pretty good understanding of the different kinds of manufacturing process. So for one Fortune 500 company, we built several custom modules on how to purchase plastics commodities. So there were 5 one-hour classes on things like thermal forming and injection molding and so forth, so that they would understand the different types of plastics manufacturing processes. For that same company, we built a number of classes on various ways that electronic assembly is put together. So the goal of that organization was that their sourcing personnel would be able to specify, inspect, and negotiate for not only the best prices, but to make sure they were getting the best quality processes. So oftentimes we're building custom classes. In addition to that, we see a lot of our standard classes being taken, and they might be in the areas of inspection and measurement. They could be in lean principles or various sorts of ISO regulations. And then there are just the courses based on process, so that they're cognizant of the different kinds of welds or machining methods that are used to produce the products. So we're really focused on assisting folks in sourcing and supplier quality on recognizing best-in-class production techniques. That's the online stuff. When it comes to the on-site instructor-led training, we've done a lot of that as well for sourcing and SQEs. And typically, again, a lot of it is going to be based on either lean principles or production methods. But we also do a lot of classes on things like concurrent engineering, geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, precision machine design. And oftentimes we find it's the sourcing engineers that are getting involved at the beginning to help define, how things are going to be manufactured, not just what's going to be manufactured.
And can you talk about how the training is done?
Yeah. With the online training, typically these larger organizations buy an annual license. They assign specific classes to their personnel. In the case of a couple of companies, they're purchasing both instructor-led training and online training from us. And what they'll do is they'll require their personnel to take a certain amount of online classes so that everyone is prepared and knows the same thing before they go into the on-site training. And the instructor-led training is typically 2 and 3 day workshops with 20 people at a time, where we have an expert on one aspect. So it could be somebody who's an expert on 5S or tolerance stack, or any DFM, different areas of engineering management, and to make sure that they get the most out of those workshops, they'll require their sourcing people or their engineers to take the online classes as preparation.
And is there anything that you could share about what results that people can expect from getting the training?
Well, what we see is a lot of companies that started with us down this road, 6, 7, 8 years ago, where they continue to train the existing workforce that we've been training with more and more advanced classes. They continue to take new hires and give them the same treatment. So, we've got a pretty good idea that if people are still utilizing the same approach after 5, 6, 7 years, that they're pretty happy with the results. These are organizations that tend to measure everything. A lot of times when it comes to not just supply chain, but pretty much anything to do with manufacturing management, we find that companies don't like to share their success stories too much because even when it's standard industry practice, most companies think that what they're doing is special, and in some cases it is. But I think by and large what we found is that most companies are looking for return on investment from their training, and they're finding that in addition to training technicians and maintenance folks, that there is a huge payback. Sourcing personnel and supplier quality folks get the same kind of intensive training because just like somebody on the shop floor that measures something wrong and can mass produce a mistake, somebody in sourcing can purchase the wrong thing, and it can be a multi-million-dollar mistake. So sometimes I think we're measured by what personnel doesn't do rather than by what they do. Our job is to help them not make mistakes in purchasing and in componentry.
Thanks, Len. And can you provide a brief background of yourself?
Sure. I've been involved with Tooling USME for 10 years. Prior to that, I was a publisher of a magazine in the economic development field, and spent 20 years essentially writing and editing about manufacturing, from the journalism side.
And thanks again for sharing today. And I look forward if you ever want to talk further about this topic.
Okay. It's a pleasure. Thanks again.